The first step is to identify what you do not want. What do you want to give up? Ask yourself where your life will be or where you will end up if you do not stop these things. This is what I like to call mindless routine. Maybe you have that feeling of waking up every day and everything feels like Groundhog Day and it all feels the same. You're not making any perceived progress towards anything. You're not fulfilled and you're not satisfied. Like, where does mindless routine get you? And if you play it out for the long haul of your life, where do you end up 30, 40, 50 years down the road? Because I think that would be the worst thing, waking up when you're like 50 years ahead of where you are right now and regretting a decision you could have made way back when, of just like following your heart and following what you actually truly believe, rather than just mindlessly going through the day to day without really putting any thought into what you actually really want. Then just take a look at the masses. Look at where people are going. Look at what people are doing. Following the crowd is never usually the best strategy. I've always been taught, or I've always had this idea that if there's anything I want to do, I always look at what most people are doing and then question it and usually go in the opposite direction. It sounds like counterintuitive, but that's what I've always done. Same when I was at school. Reached that point of going through school and then deciding, do I want to continue with higher education or do I want to go completely the opposite direction? And obviously I went the opposite direction. But most people won't do that. They will follow the crowd blindly because if the crowd are going that way, it's like safety in numbers. Like, it must be the right thing. It's this perceived level of security of following the crowd, right? That's kind of like a human instinct. What I believe is that you should, when you reach points like that, you should question it and actually ask yourself if there is another way. Because I went 180 degrees on the school system, going to university just was not for me. I'm not saying it's everybody should do that, but it definitely wasn't my preferred path. I went off 180 degrees and just did my own thing. And I have done that ever since I was like 18, 19 or something. Just I always wanted to go my own way and figure things out for myself because I've had this deep drive and desire to create this lifestyle that I see as success. And a lot of people crave this, but they don't know how to get there. And for me, observing the masses and asking yourself, well, if everybody is mindlessly following this one path and it's not actually getting them much in terms of fulfillment in life, then why would you follow it? Why wouldn't you just question whether that's the right way, or if there is another path? And then we come on to this idea of an Antiv Vision. When people want to make a change in life, or they want to improve one area of their life, they generally look at the positive things that they need to change. You ask yourself, well, where do I want to be? Where do I want to strive towards? How much money do I want to be making? Where do I want to be living? What sort of car do I want to be driving? And these are all great things, but what about if you flip that on its head and ask yourself the reverse of it? Like, what do you absolutely hate right now and what do you absolutely not want to have in your life? Fear, anger, frustration, motivations, this Antiv Vision can actually fuel you towards getting what you actually want. So it flips things on its head and it's so powerful. And I learned this from a Tim Ferriss book. The 4-Hour Workweek, it's in there. There's a whole section on fear setting. That's what Tim Ferriss calls it. And he essentially gets you to get a notepad out and write down all the things that you don't like about your life right now, what you don't want, and that fuels you and pushes you towards what you actually do want. It's kind of a counterintuitive way of thinking, because most people when they're setting goals, they'll set positive goals. The Antiv Vision is the complete opposite of that. And you'd be surprised at what emotions this will bring out. It'll bring out all sorts of negative emotions and anger. These are all powerful motivators, and you can use fear to push you towards what you really want. I would actually argue it's more powerful than using positive energy to fuel growth. Negative energy is way stronger because of that fear of regret, like I was saying before. Because if you wake up 50 years from now and you're angry because you didn't make a certain decision years ago, you can use that same power now to get where you want or to get closer to where you want. Then comes the need for the positive thinking part, kind of. This is where you create a vision and a plan. What do you want your life to look like? What does your perfect day look like? What are you doing throughout the day? And how do you get there? We get there through a system, right? So we need to map out what our daily, weekly, and monthly tasks are to reach that ideal goal. So this isn't going to happen overnight. You need to get very clear on the high leverage tasks that are going to move the needle. Then you want to break those monthly tasks down into weekly tasks and then how to reach those weekly goals through daily actions. It's surprising that when you break down such a big goal into bite-sized chunks that you can achieve on the daily, how much faster and how much more fun it actually feels making progress towards your goal. Sometimes it can feel like on the day-to-day, you aren't making much progress. But if you then look at where you started like 3 months later, you actually look back and think, oh, I actually don't feel like I've done anything monumental, but it's these chipping away day by day at making progress. And you actually realize, fuck, I've actually come quite far. Same goes for like working out in the gym and stuff. Like you don't just walk into the gym and have a six pack, or you don't just walk into the gym and build massive biceps. If that's your goal. It's not my goal, but some people's goals. You do it over a prolonged period of time of consistent daily action of the small things, showing up consistently and working towards things that are aligned with your purpose and what you actually want. Because this ties back to the first point about mindless routine and mindless action. Most people don't do this or haven't reached this point, so they don't know what these daily, weekly and monthly targets are. It just makes it so much easier to hit big goals because you just focus on the day-to-day, what you need to do every single day consistently and showing up to hit those bigger targets that you have. The next 6 to 12 months, this is going to be hard for some people. You want to disappear. And I don't mean like literally disappearing off the face of the earth. Focus and knuckle down on working towards what you want. Lock in. So get rid of toxic relationships. Have priorities. Work towards this vision and plan that you have. Limit time on social media. Get rid of every kind of distraction that is throwing you off. Because on the daily, it might not feel like these little distractions are actually taking you off course or slowing you down. But if you extrapolate that over time, they're having a massive impact on you. I can almost guarantee that. Because this is what I've experienced as I've been trying to grow certain areas in my life. And you realize the things that are really eating away at you. They may not seem like much in the moment. You might think, oh, it's only 10 minutes here, or it's 5 minutes there, it's half an hour here. But that over time is slowing you down. So you want to disappear. Lock in and make a decision to yourself to limit time on social media, cut out toxic relationships, get on track, focus on your goals. When you're focused on your goals, you want to focus on the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are obviously the thing that create the foundations to your growth. People see the fundamentals as boring, so that's why they never do it. But if you look at any successful person, anyone you see as successful, I can guarantee you they do boring tasks every single day, but they are fundamental to achieving a certain result. A lot of people get stuck here because they're looking for this shiny thing, shiny object that is going to make everything easier. I'll just do this one thing and everything else will just happen. It doesn't work like that. Success and growth compounds over time, right? It's made in the boring fundamentals. So say, for example, if you were starting out as a freelance copywriter, the boring fundamentals would be learning copywriting, spending an hour or two a day of outreaching to clients and finding clients. That is boring work. It's fundamental, but it's boring. But understand that boring isn't boring. Boring is the thing that makes the whole thing work. People don't understand this because they're so focused and distracted more than focused on the shiny things that people share on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram about how you can get this thing really quick. Honestly, nothing worth having comes easy. Do hard things now and life will be easy. Do easy things now, life will be hard. Then we want to embrace long-term thinking, like results and patience. This isn't going to happen overnight, whatever it is you're working towards. Like I just said, you want to achieve great things, do the hard things now. Whenever you're faced with what feels like a brick wall, or like resistance to doing something that feels hard, that is the thing you need to do. Don't try and look for an easy way out. Don't try and put the task off. Because I know a lot of people say reaching out to clients, that's a big fear of people, being judged by people. When that feels hard, I'll go and do something else. I'll go and, I need to go and make a tweak on my website. I need to go and do this other stupid thing that will not move the needle at all. But people think it does. When you reach that resistance feeling, go all in on that, because that's literally the roadmap for you. That's telling you what your next step needs to be. For most things in my life, whenever I've faced this feeling of resistance and then embraced it and gone with it, that's when I've had the most growth in things. When I've had to confront myself or confront other people and have hard conversations with about things. It's not comfortable. The more you do it, it's like a muscle. You get stronger over time, you develop this thicker skin, you get tougher, you grow faster, you grow further. It's really simple, but it's hard to execute, really hard to execute. But it's the first step to doing this is to becoming aware of it. And I guess the final part of this is to be motivated by the idea of incremental growth. Don't think you're just going to wake up next day and everything's going to change overnight. That's why this video is titled How to Get Ahead of People in 6 to 12 months, because it takes a long time, or longer than like a day or two, right? So watch this video again, check out these videos next. I hope it was useful, and I'll see you in the next video.